We are live. I'm here with Lynn Robinson. I am Jason Snyder with 5,000 buyers to your website createflow.com. Here to service you today on residual income and home-based business. How you doing, Lynn?
Hey, I'm Lynn Robinson with crazypeach.com. Hey, I'm doing good. Trying not to laugh. Oh,
You know what? Just kind of a warning or a disclaimer. We do laugh out of control from time to time, and you may actually not even learn something from what we're going to share with you. But if you pay attention to what we're going to tell you, you will learn a great deal about residual income and home-based business and how you can actually push through from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow if you still choose to stick with it. But you got to have fun with what you're doing, and we're a clear example of that. We joke around and giggle and tell funny stories and just kind of laugh at each other. But there's a lot of meaning behind that. And so we're just going to share some of our experiences today, some of what we're going through and what we've been through from where we are from when we started to where we are today, and how, automatic residual income can benefit you in your life.
yep. What do you want? I'm sorry. I'm just like, okay. Let the laughter begin.
For real.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, so we're talking about residual income, or, actually we're talking about home-based businesses and kind of why people get into it, maybe why people don't last in it. Because I think a lot of times people start looking at home-based businesses and they're just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm at home, I could just do whatever, I'll set my own schedule, it's so easy, blah, blah, blah. And they get into it, they last like a couple of months. If they're super dedicated, they might last 6 months. But for the majority of people, it's like they get in, they figure, oh, really? With the water?
I had to.
Sorry. Anyways, people get into this and then they think it's so easy, but they start to realize really quick that it actually does take a lot of work. And a lot of people, I think, come into this thinking that right off the bat, I'm going to start making money. And that's just not going to happen. I mean, if you're in something where you need to train, if you're in a company that has tons of training, you need to go through and do that training and learn what you need to learn before you just take off and start making all kinds of cash. Because it looks easy, it sounds easy, but it's not. Simple, yes. Easy, no. You are going to have to put in work, and I think that's where a lot of people fail. They get to a point where they don't want to put in as much work as it actually takes, because you don't have a boss telling you what to do or setting your schedule or saying, hey, you need to go to this training meeting or that training meeting. You don't have someone pushing you and guiding you along. You have to create that. You have to create an environment where you meet other people that will encourage you and push you along so that you get through all those trainings, so that you put in the work, so that you get, your product out or whatever it is that you do. And I think that's where a lot of people fail. You got something?
Well, you know what, and that, another thing too is just as easy as it is to get in, is just as easy to get out. But if you treat your business like a franchise, because a lot of the first network marketing company I was in was, they said we have a system and you follow our system, and
Yeah.
a lot of times, and their system was a little bit flawed, but a lot of times if you follow the system, and if there's other millionaires or people who are real successful, making a lot of money, if you follow the system, you will too succeed. But it's like having a franchise at McDonald's. If you're going to spend all the money to get in for the franchise, they tell you how to run the business, and if you do what they do, you will be successful. And it's the same thing in any business you start. If you follow successful people and do the thing that successful people do, you will too find success. But
Yeah.
it's not necessarily easy all the time, because it's like you said, you are self-governed. You have to kind of have that discipline within yourself to push yourself, to wake up in the morning, to do what you have to do, if you have a list of things you got to get those things done, and if you don't get them done, don't leave them. You come back tomorrow and you complete them, and then you move on to the next thing. So there's a specific strategy behind, I guess, a mindset that you have to develop, and our win or die attitude. This is it. This is what I'm gonna do. That's it. Period. and I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make a way or find a way. But a lot of us, we have jobs and we fall back on our job. Well, okay, and then we come back and say, oh, this didn't work. I tried it and it didn't work. But did you really try it? I mean, did you really put as much work as in your job as you in your business? Are you showing up every day in your business like you do your job? And if you show up every day in your business, you will get paid. But you have to show up every day. And if you're not showing up every day, then you're not going to get paid. It's just like if you have a job. Once you have a ton of vacation time, I mean, I had over a month of vacation time when I left my job. But
wow,
maybe 2 months. But you have to. They said every time off, you're like, work me like a slave. That was they your name is Toby.
Motisa.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there.
All right, that's okay. We're trying to be good and stay on topic. All right. Compose yourself. Anyways, okay. I'll let you go ahead and laugh. It's funny. It's something
but
you were saying.
It's showing up every day, being consistent, and always creating a result, and then improving from that result that you created. Because positive or negative, it's a result, but you don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as a positive. Okay, I created the result. It wasn't what I want. How can I get better at this to create what I want? And then roll it from there.
Exactly. You said something, and I had a thought, and now it's gone, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
Maybe it'll come back to me a little bit later. It was like, whatever. But going back to why people just, kind of not succeed or kind of give up. We were talking before about our whys, and I know you and I have actually talked about this a lot of the time. And it's funny because I think when we both started, or when I started, because you started way ahead of me, our whys were a little bit different. And so my why from way back then is different from what it is now. And I think, I read a lot about if you don't know what you're doing this for, why you're doing this business, or any business, why you want it to succeed, why you need it to succeed. If you don't have that strong why, you're not gonna push yourself to do the things that you have to do in order to make it succeed. The first time that you have some sort of setback or something, you're just gonna give up because you don't want to keep putting in the effort. But if you have that strong, reason to make it work, like me, it's like there's no fallback for me. This is it. There is no fallback. I haven't worked in 6 years. I'll be danged if I'm going to go back to school to go learn a new trade so that I can make minimum wage,
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, that's not an option. That's not an option. So my why is very strong. It's like, this is it. I got to either make it or break it, and so if you don't have that pushing you, whether it's your family or you want like just time freedom, you don't want someone breathing down your neck, or whatever, if you don't have that pushing you, you're not gonna keep going. You're gonna be one of those people that like 3 months in is like, you know what, this is not working for me, and then you're done.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned kind of your why and how it drives you, and you mentioned that this is it, do or die. It's like you burned the boats. You said, you know what, I'm gonna do it no matter what. I always tell my parents, when they ask me questions, like, yeah, this and this, and they go, well, why don't you, are you not about getting a job? I don't need a job, right? And then they go, matter of fact, I'm unemployable.
Yeah.
I haven't worked in over a year now. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no going back now. It's tough.
And I'm cool, and I'm in the beginning of living like my dream, right? I'm in the beginning of doing what I want to do. I'm in the beginning of reaching to where I want to go. I'm on that path. So it's a lovely path to be on. I'm embracing where I'm at, and anything that happens to discourage that is only a sign that I'm going to get where I want to go. So it's never a negative. My personal why is just to have, even though it's everyone else, to have more freedom, right? I don't want to be confined by someone telling me what to do. Of course, you have a mentor, and you have to follow a mentor. You have to take a mentor's advice, because if you don't have a good mentor, it's going to be your learning curve is going to be accelerated. If you're not listening
Yeah.
to somebody who's already been there before. It's like if you're going to go to London, you want to kind of get in contact with someone who's already been to London, so that they can give you some of the ins and outs of it, and then you're going to experience it yourself, right? And it's the same thing in business, in home-based business, or even big retail or corporate America. There's managers who are mentors to the employees, to the supervisors to employees, and vice versa from the top all the way down. However, with this, you have the possibility of being the person on the top, maybe you can outsource some stuff and have some people work for you, the stuff that you don't like to do, to create more freedom for yourself. So if you're, if really truly in this for time freedom, the book called The 4-Hour Work Week, where he explains how to, something you don't want to do, hire an assistant. I have an assistant. Something you don't want to do, you can hire someone to write your blog post for you if you want to do blog posts. Whatever it is, there's someone out there that can do that for you. You just pay them, and it's done, right? You give them specific directions. I talk to them. Yeah, it's all one and done. Have them repeat it back to you. Boom, that's great. And then it's done, right? And then you can go off and do what you want to do and live the life the way you want to. So for me, when I read that book, I'm like, man, this is possible, really? And and then so you see it's possible, and then you gotta just kind of work to make it possible and believe that it's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's a good point. It's not possible right away, though.
Yes.
I mean, unless you're already rolling in the dough and you can just set it up and just put out your money right off the bat, that's awesome. But I think a lot of people that get started in stuff like that, they're doing it because they don't have that. They don't have that extra cash rolling around. They're trying to make extra money. So in the beginning, yeah, you got to do all that stuff yourself. You got to do the grunt work that nobody likes to do, and just know that that's part of it. So when you get to that and you're just like, I'm so sick of trying to do these blog posts, I'm sick of putting out these links, I'm sick of making these ads, I'm sick of creating this, that, and the other, just know that one day it'll all add up and eventually you'll get somewhere. But if you quit, you'll never know. You might have been like right on the edge of making that breakthrough and you quit, and now you'll just never know.
Yes. You won't until you have to be in it to win it and stick in it to get to that point, to see the other side of the mountain. You have to. I was listening to Jim Rome yesterday, and he was talking about the people who first settled California or the West, and what pushed them to get there. It was just having the imagination, or seeing themselves already there, so that the trail to get there wasn't as bad. Or it was bad, but wasn't as bad, because they knew the end result. They knew where they were going. The game was over at the point, and they knew the end game, and that's what drove them to get to that point. No matter how hard it was, they knew if they kept on going, they would get where they want to go. Now, some people stopped off in Colorado and Nebraska and Oklahoma. They like, okay, they just gave up, right? But everyone complained. But everyone else kept on going. And if that's what they want to say, that's great, because those are great cities. I love those cities. Actually, where I live at now is kind of like Colorado. It's just, or even Oregon, it's just beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
But just knowing where you want to go, and if you're clear on what you want, and you're clear on why you're doing it, and you're clear on knowing where you want to go, you will get there. And whatever challenges come in the way, you will ask yourself who, what, when, where, why, and how did this happen, and you will find the answers, and then you will actually have the answers to those challenges, and then you will jump over them and keep on going.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm really quiet today. I'm sorry. My kids started school, and so my sleep schedule's been all crazy. It's been like I go to bed at 12, I get up at 5. I go to bed at 12, I get up at 5. It's like it's killing me.
Wow, you kind of mentioned that yesterday.
Huh?
You kind of mentioned that yesterday.
Yeah, that's right, because we normally do our hangouts on Wednesdays, and man, I couldn't do it. It was 1 o'clock. I was like, I gotta take a nap right now. I can't do it. I was done. I was toast. But you know what? I didn't get much done yesterday. I've been kind of it's been beating me down. But here I am again today, and I'm
Yes.
getting my, the web thing in, and we're doing our hangout, and that's
Yes.
the important part. It's like it might not have worked yesterday. It's the perfect. That's the perfect point. We didn't get it done yesterday, but we came back and we're getting it done. Dump truck. We're getting it done today. And that's part of it. Is sometimes you stumble, you fall, you have setbacks, but you get up. It's how you pick yourself up and keep going.
Yes.
That's going to determine your success or not.
It's not what happened to you. It's how you respond to what happened to you.
Yeah.
I had you had a challenging day yesterday, but it was actually a kind of fulfilling morning too. Like I got a lot of stuff done, but I was at, of all places, Home Depot, right? And I met these three guys, or two guys, I'm sorry, and they were one guy, they're recovering addicts, and they were staying at a church, and so we just had this connection, this weird connection, right? And we had this talk, and he was telling me that, oh yeah, I'm a recovering this and that and that and this. I'm like, that's great, man, but don't label yourself that way. Don't run that record in your head every day. That's who you are. That's who you were in the past, and who you are today is different. You're reborn. You're off to a new path now. So just remember that. Don't, of course, use that as education for yourself of what not to do, but focus on who you are now and where you're going, and not necessarily who you were before. And we had just a great conversation. We were sharing Bible scriptures and all kinds of crazy stuff, right?
Oh,
It was
cool.
A lot of great energy right there. It was really a lot of good energy there. And then of course I left. I look over, I see all the day workers there. It was like, hey, how you guys doing? So, but it was just always cool to get out and connect with people and network and meet new people. And you never know whose life you're gonna touch in what way. It doesn't have to be in a monetary type way, but just in an enlightening way, making someone feel good about who they are, because that energy is shared back and forth, and they gave it back to me, and it just felt really good to bask in.
Yeah. You know what's so important about that? I think I was having this conversation last night with someone about how we're so digital and techie and online, and you have so much interaction online, but a lot of people forget about that whole personal experience. I mean, we're people. We need to actually have face-to-face conversation. We need to hear voices. We need to feel people, shaking your hand or giving you a hug or whatever. We need that visual and auditory stimulation from real people sometimes. And I was saying, it's like, that's so sad, because nowadays you can't. A lot of people that you see, they can't even look you in the eye. They don't even know how to look you in the eye. So,
Yes.
and I think that's a very important part of marketing. I know that now, like, relationship marketing is really trying to make its comeback, and that's getting more into like actually meeting people and talking to people and just being real, like a real person, face to face with people.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. It's kind of off topic, but kind of goes with what you're saying.
It's actually right on target. It's actually right on topic, because and that's another part of maybe your why, because you never know who you're going to meet and how you're going to affect somebody.
Yeah.
And it may be an indirect. This is the beauty thing about say network marketing, and kind of like why I got involved and I started listening to Jim Rohn, right? But he talked about, you never know who you're going to affect directly, but also indirectly too. Holton Bucks, I think he's a distributor for Ogana Gold, and he was talking about, and I truly just love his energy on stage at this event. I think it was a Network Marketing Pro event, and he was talking about how when he started and how he just believed it was going to happen, and he believed it was going to happen, and he believed it was going to happen, and his belief level was just skyrocketed, and he had to recondition himself, and he was just kind of going through all his processes to get him where he's at, from where he was to where he's at. And he mentioned Jeff Roberti, and how he never met Jeff Roberti, but heard one of his speeches, and he would listen to that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And he has tasted Holton Bucks had tasted some success. And he met some guy in there in Florida. He looked over and seen his house. And whose house is that? Well, that's Jeff Roberti's house. He's like, wow, that's amazing. Never has met him, but his life was touched by him without him not even knowing it.
Isn't
You know,
that crazy?
that really is, that's amazing, and he mentioned that, and I'm like, man, I had actually when I was in my first company, they had remember had CDs, right, passing out CDs,
Uh-huh.
and they had a Jim Rome CD, and I bought, it was like $1, and I bought a CD with Jeffrey Birdie on it. Jeffrey Birdie is like great. He was mentioning, he's all, money just makes you more of what you are. If you're a jerk, you're a bigger jerk. If you're a drunk, if you're alcohol, if you're a drinker, you're a drunk. He was comparing it to that, and he was talking about just having the mental muscle to overcome from where you are and what's
Yeah.
the business, and that term mental muscle is stuck with me, and I use that on my own copy because I just think it's great.
I've never even heard of him, Jeff Roberti. I'm gonna have to go look him up.
Yeah, he's I haven't seen his stuff on YouTube, but he might be there. I just have one of his, happened to somebody passed on one of his CDs to me, and I start listening to him. Man, this guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look him up. I think I'm brain dead today because you said something else, and it's like I had a thought on it, and now it's gone, and I'm still waiting for the first thought to come back.
Well,
I'm so sorry.
If they come back, we can use them on our next show next week, next Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what it was. You were talking about how if money just kind of amplifies the person that you are.
Yes.
And so I thought that's a great thing to talk. That's something we definitely need to talk about because I think a lot of times people fail because they're not comfortable with money. I was talking to someone about one of some of the business stuff. One of the girls in the business that I do, one of the businesses I do, she makes like $80,000 a month, and so I was telling my friend this, and she was just like, "Huh?" I said, "Yeah, she makes like $80,000 a month." I don't know. For me and you, it's probably no big deal because we know a lot of people that are kind of there already.
Yes.
Or make that kind of money, and we know that it's not impossible. A lot of people do actually make that kind of money. But when I told her, she was just like blown away. Like, I couldn't even imagine making that kind of money. That's crazy. Who needs to make that kind of money? Just like, are you serious? Like, you're like, if someone was telling you, hey, you could make $80,000 a month, or here, $80,000 a month, I'll give it to you. You wouldn't take it? Heck yeah, you would take it. It is possible, it's. So I was just thinking that's a great topic because so many people are uncomfortable with money. I mean, they're so used to just having $3,000 to $5,000 a month. I mean, or even less, and that they've just come to accept it, and they think that the more money you make, the more evil you become. And I think that was a great point, that you don't become evil because you have money. If you were an asshole beforehand, yeah, you're going to probably be a bigger asshole. But if you were a giver, and you're someone who takes care of people,
yes,
now you have the means to really go and just take it off the charts, like helping people,
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a beautiful point. And I think a lot of it kind of goes back to maybe some Bible principles that maybe people kind of twisted a little bit, because it's the love of money, right? You can't love the money. You're supposed to love each other, but it's about what you can do with the amount of money you have. And if you have ever read the book Network Marketing Pro with Eric Worre, he talks about all the people he's been around and what they do with their time and with their money, because they have so much more time and money before they're working in, say, the United Way or the Red Cross or their whatever local charity they have, or they're able to give more to their charity, and they're able to give to their family or other people. They're able to help people out.
Yeah.
It's not about me personally. It's at first, right? You see the numbers, like, wow, I can do that, and then it's about the money. But then I think at a certain point, it's not about the money. It's not necessarily about the lifestyle. It's about what you can do with the money for the people around you. And if you money being evil to money is only an energy, and it's just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. It's really nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It's an electronic transaction from your account to someone else's account. It's a piece of paper check from your account to someone else. That's all it is. And what it does for you is it gives you a little bit of a better lifestyle. It gives you things, right? However, things in excess are, can be bad, right? I mean, I'm not talking about money in excess, but I mean materialistic things in excess can be bad. And so it's about just not living beyond your means, but living with what you're comfortable with and having the things that you want. And then when it doesn't serve you any longer, you're just kind of getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, what serves you, you keep, and what you don't need, you rid yourself of, and you use what you have to help somebody else out.
Yep. Good point. So I think next week we should do one of our hangouts on that then.
Yeah,
there's so much more to it. And I think that's a huge reason why like today we're talking about why people fail or quit the business, and that's a huge part of it, because you're only looking for the money. When you're only looking for the money, you're not going to get it. You have to have a bigger purpose, bigger vision. It can't just be about making money all the time. Because if that's it, you're gonna skip out on what you're doing now because you're not making the money. You're gonna skip out and you're gonna go to the next thing that's gonna make you money, whether that's another business that you try or just going back to working for someone else because you're gonna get that paycheck. It might not be what you want or the amount that you need, but you'll do it because it's easier than what you're trying to do on your own. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. I had a friend of mine I ran into back in May, and he's like, "Hey man, so how's things going? I know you haven't worked in a while. How's your business going?" I'm like, "Man, it's going pretty well, man." And we had this conversation. He's like, I ventured out and did some stuff of my own. He did he started his little company. And he's like, "Man, you know what I've learned?" And he's back to bartending. He's like, "What I learned is that you really have to change your belief on money, because as soon as you see it, you can have $20,000 in a day, and then the next day it's gone. You have to pay this, that, and this." And I go, "Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. But if you understand what money really is, it really doesn't matter."
Yeah, you could take it or leave it.
Yeah, and he kind of looked at me kind of puzzled. I go, "You have to refrain your belief in how you see it, and know that it's just an energy, and it's flow. We're all energy. Anything around us is energy, and you have to be magnetic for it to attract to you." And he's like, "Well, that's kind of another way of looking. I never thought of it that way." And and we kind of went on to talking about some other stuff, but he was actually right though. You really do, because I mean, if you're starting out, you may not make any money for a long time.
Yeah.
But when you do, Think and Grow Rich says, when it happens, it happens, and it's nothing to stop. Like we're even hiding that for the past few months,
Yeah. When you hit that magic number, it's gonna keep on rolling.
Like, where you been at? See what's really going on.
No.
So.
What's the secret?
Yeah.
Book.
Hey, next episode for the price of $97.97, we are giving away the secret to how to make money online.
I'm sorry. I'm so late. You just do it. I'm out. Jason's going to take us out because I can't do it, and when he stops laughing, he can do it out. This is Lynn, crazypeach.com. Have a good one. Jason, stop laughing long enough to say bye.
This is Jason Snyder with 5000.createflow.com. You guys have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye.